Hello YouTube, I hope you are doing great. This time we're going to unbox a bunch of guitars. Basically, they are unboxed already. It's just we're gonna open the cases and show you the content. This is a Knaggs guitar collection, so stay tuned. Thank you for being there, and I'll see you after the break. Alright, let's start with the first guitar. Just make sure that I cover the sticker so you don't find out what it is. Okay, so we're gonna go through the 5 guitars, and I have chosen this one to be the first one. Voila! This is a Knaggs, and this is a pretty standard Knaggs, except for the tier 1 maple top. This is the most expensive top you can get. So Knaggs have tier 1 to 3, 1 being the most expensive, 3 being the cheapest one. Number 1 is of course the one with the best flame tops, the best coil tops, the best 3D effects, the best movement, and this certainly has a lot of movement. I'll show you later, give you different angles. So the Knaggs is the most popular model from Knaggs, and let me tell you more about the specs. So as I said, maple top. You have your 4 knob configuration, 2 volume, 2 tone, 1 volume for each pickup and 1 tone for each pickup, just like a Les Paul. We have this combined bridge tailpiece, which is a Knaggs design. I find it to be very good. I like how it looks. And then we have 2 humbuckers. These are bare knuckle mules. They are PAF style, vintage style humbuckers. They are great. They are very popular in Knaggs. Knaggs uses them in not only the Knaggs, other models as well. We have a 3-way switch for the pickups, top for the neck, middle for both, and down here is the bridge, just like a regular, your typical 3-way switch like a Les Paul. What else is important? We have Indian rosewood neck. This is a standard spec for the Knaggs. We have the Morningstar inlays, which is as well standard. And then we have Cluson tuners, vintage Cluson style tuners, and that is the Knaggs headstock, which is polarizing. Many people hate it, many people love it. I love it. I don't think there's a problem with it. I love how it ends like a sharp shape like that. So this guitar is very comfortable. It's very ergonomic. It's quite thin compared to a Les Paul. Let me give you a look of the back. This is mahogany, as I said, body and neck, and there's a lacquer that is a little dark red, but you can see some of the grain of the wood right there. And then just give you another angle of this headstock. It has a cutoff for the ribs, so it's pretty comfortable here. And then there's a little cutoff here for the legs when you're sitting down with the instrument. So yeah, this guitar is awesome. And I think I forgot to tell you that this is the solar eclipse. So it's a Knaggs solar eclipse. That's the color. You know, these guitar makers, they come up with fancy names for colors, but this is basically a beach fade. It's a typical beach fade where you have colors changing, and it you know, gives you that view of, you know, the sand, the yellow sand, and then the blue skies, and then kind of the sunset. But in this case, you know, it works fine, just like a solar eclipse as well. And then there's no binding. And the top, that is actually natural binding. You can see the flame maple coming through, and then you know, you get these lines, black, white, white, and black, white, black lines all over. So that's the Knaggs solar eclipse. Now let me just show you a different angle so you can see the flames moving around. Alright, second guitar. The case looks exactly the same. These cases are, you know, they don't do anything different. This is just what they use, and it's kind of cool that you know what guitar we're talking about. It's not a PRS, it's a Knaggs. Alright, so let's open this up. And we're lucky that it's a sunny day in the Seattle area. You don't get this too often, so I'm happy that I can use some of this natural light to show you these guitars. There you go. This is a sanded burgundy Knaggs. Same model you saw earlier, but there's a few differences here. This is not really your everyday standard Knaggs. So let's begin with the top. It's a maple top, tier 1 maple top. It's amazing flame. It has great movement and 3D effects, as you will see when I show you those angles. Same thing, we have the typical Knaggs bridge, which is the Knaggs model with the integrated tailpiece and bridge. We have bare knuckle mules as well, again in the pickups, 2 volume, 2 tone, 1 volume, 1 tone for each pickup. Then 3-way switch, same configuration we just saw. And then the cool thing about this guitar and why it's more expensive than the other one is that because it's fully roasted. Every single piece of wood in this guitar is fully roasted. The top is roasted, the back, the neck is roasted, the fingerboard is roasted, headstock is roasted. Roasting wood will give you more stability. It will make the guitar less susceptible to change when the weather changes. Doesn't matter if it's cold weather, dry weather, a lot of moisture in the air. It's supposed to be stable because it's very prepared to withstand the changes in weather. So I don't know, that's what they say. Time will tell. But so far, it's an exceptional guitar, stays in tune all the time. So let's move on with the specs here. We have natural binding. There's you know, we have the same lines we saw earlier in the other guitar, black, white, black, and then natural maple coming through. You can see the flames coming through in the edge. I really love these golden knobs. They go very well with this burgundy color. We have a maple, flame maple fingerboard, roasted as well. We have white blocks as inlays. We don't have the Morningstar, so that's another thing that is not standard in this guitar. Morningstar is what you get in pretty much every Knaggs, except if you order, the dealer decides to order something more special. And these are mother of pearl. They are mother of pearl blocks. And then, if you see here, we have a very interesting headstock. This is not your typical standard Knaggs headstock. This is a Severn, which is a different model. The Severn is kind of a Stratocaster take from Knaggs. So basically, this guitar is blending flavors from Les Paul and Strats. It's a big head compared to the very wide head compared to the standard Knaggs, and of course you have all the typical tuning machines from that style, or the 6 of them in one side. Keep in mind it has a veneer that is roasted as well, and it's kind of the same pattern of the sanded burgundy we see in the maple top. Alright, so that's what we have. Let's see what we have on the back. See if there's anything special. Oh yeah, there you go. That's another spec that is not standard for a Knaggs. This is a swamp ash back, roasted. So it's just a 100% roasted rock and roll machine. And then you have a flame maple neck. And this is a tier 2. And the flame continues all the way through the headstock. Goto tuners. Very, very high grade tuners. This is a tier 2, so it's not the best you can do. I mean, you can find other better ones, but tier 2, it's not too shabby. And as I said, roasted. So it's a roasted neck as well. And then it's a tier 2 fretboard. Forgot to mention that earlier. It's a tier 2, not a tier 1. The only tier 1 we have here is the maple top. Okay, so now we are gonna check the third guitar. Same old Knaggs case. Look at that. This is a Knaggs as well, and there are many similarities with the one we saw earlier. So this is a sanded forest green finish. It's a tier 1 maple top. Everything you see here in terms of the pickups and the bridge and the knobs and the switch is exactly the same as we saw in the previous two guitars. Bare knuckle mules, nothing special there for a Knaggs. So same situation with the binding. There's no binding, it's just simply the natural maple coming through with no paint. Then we have a roasted maple fingerboard, and this is actually a tier 1, not a tier 2. Remember the sanded burgundy was a tier 2. This is the best tier you can get for your fingerboard. And then we have the blocks that's a mother of pearl, and then we have the Severn headstock, another non-standard option. Look at that grain. You can see the lines, vertical lines all over the place. It is a work of art. Yeah, Knaggs, they don't mess around. Let's see the back of the guitar. We have alder. So the body is alder, which is another non-standard spec for a Knaggs. Remember, Knaggs are made out of mahogany. These are very nice alder. And then we have a tier 1 maple neck. Another difference compared to the burgundy one. Burgundy one is actually a tier 2. Let's just have a view of the headstock. So I noticed these tuners are actually, the specs say they are Goto, but they don't have the logo that you saw in the other ones. It's basically plain, doesn't say anything. That's interesting. Wonder why that is. Alright, so that's the sanded forest green for you. Let's check how it looks, different camera angles. Alright, let's check out the fourth guitar. Let's see what we have. And surprise, surprise, we have another Knaggs. But this is a signature Knaggs. It's a Eric Steckel's signature. Eric is a very accomplished blues guitarist. He plays what they call, I think, metal blues or heavy blues, which is a type of blues that uses a lot of distortion. He has other signature gear like Mesa Barba signature amplifier, and right here we have a signature thing here. These pickups are the Seymour Duncan Candy pickups, and these are signature for Eric. What happened is that there was this famous burst, Les Paul burst, that Eric got to play, and it was called Candy, and he loved that guitar. So he loved the sound of those pickups, and Seymour Duncan decided to replicate them. So they took them in a lab and took all the measurements and tried to replicate it, and this is the result. They created the Seymour Duncan Candy pickups in their custom shop. So it's a very PAF kind of sound, very vintage. It sounds amazing for the type of music that Eric plays. How about the top? This is a maple top tier 1. I mean, look at that. It's just an amazing thing. And it's called, the color is called Bluetooth Purple Fade. We have something different here. We don't have the integrated bridge and tailpiece. This is a separate. It's pretty much more like a Les Paul. These are Tom Pros, and it's a golden hardware. You can see golden tailpiece. The pickups are golden, and Cluson golden tuning machines. We have a maple fingerboard. This is tier 1 maple with black blocks. It has a lot of movement, this fingerboard. And then we have standard things, which is the 4 knobs. We have 2 volume, 2 tone, 1 knob for each pickup, one tone for each pickup, 1 volume for each pickup, and then the 3-way switch. Nothing fancy here. We don't have binding. We just have the maple coming out on the edge, natural, with no lacquer, and with no fancy paints, just natural maple. And then what else? Okay, so the headstock is the same standard headstock you will find in other Knaggs, with the Morningstar. The difference here will be the cover for the truss rod. It says Knaggs TS. The T is for thick, because the thickness of this guitar is much more than the thickness of a standard Knaggs. And then the S is for Steckel, which is the last name of Eric. And I'll show you how thick this guitar is. It makes sense that they will make it thicker because they were trying to replicate the sound of a Les Paul, and Les Pauls, we all know, is a thick piece of wood. I don't know if you can appreciate it, but it is, I would say it's about almost 0.2 inches thicker than the standard Knaggs. And then this is a black Limba body, which is just beautiful. If you don't know, Limba and Corina is pretty much the same tree, the same species. It's just that the black one comes from older trees, and the Corina that is, we know has Corina, which is a white one, comes from younger trees. So the older the tree is, the more pigmentation it acquires, and it kind of makes the grain looks much nicer, and it's more expensive than Corina for that reason. And that reason is because you don't see this mass produced. You don't see that's the reason why Les Pauls are not made out of black limba. They are mahogany. And then we have a fretboard, excuse me, and then we have a neck that is maple tier 1 with the same finish as the top. Is a blue to purple fade, and then again from the back the headstock with the clusons. This guitar is heavy and chunky, but it just plays amazing. And you know, it has the same cut on the sides for comfortable playing, and not so much. It has the comfort cut here for the ribs, and then there's no comfort cut on this side. So on this side it's more like a Les Paul. I mean, no pain, no gain. You know, if you want to play a thick guitar, you have to do it like the old-fashioned way. Alright, so that's the Eric Steckel Knaggs signature. Alright, so now we have the last guitar, fifth guitar. If you take a look here, you might find out that the case is actually way thicker than the other cases. I don't have one right now to compare, but trust me, this is probably 0.2 inches thicker than the other ones. Not really sure why. The guitar inside the case is kind of the same dimensions, but let's see, what do we have here? Look at that. This is a Knaggs. Again, that's my favorite guitar. I have tried other models from Knaggs. I have tried Chinas and Cheyenne and Seburn. I tried the Knaggs J, the junior one. It's just a one pickup thing, not my thing, definitely. So this is my guitar because I came from Les Paul, and I gravitate to guitars that have that sort of DNA from Les Paul. So what's special about this? A lot of things. Number one is the koa top. Look at this top. Koa is a wood that you can only find in Hawaii. It's a very expensive wood. And this one has an incredible figuring. It moves like crazy. amazing 3D effects, and I'll show you later. Trust me. The other special things, it has Virgil Abloh 1959 PAF pickups. Virgil Abloh is like a boutique pickup company, and this is their version of PAF. They sound amazing, vintage style. We have the typical Knaggs integrated 12-piece bridge in gold. So all the hardware in this guitar is gold, including these PAFs, and they are loose in the gold. This one pretty much gone, and this one has some. And then if we go to the headstock, we can see gold on the tuning machines. These are Goto tuning machines, and they're quite small, and they have a classic look to them. So we have other standard things is the 2-volume, 2-tone, 1-tone for each pickup, 1 volume for each pickup. Different is that the switch is down here instead of here. Remember, this is a Knaggs. I don't know if this is the way Knaggs were back in the day. This is a 2009 model, the first production year for Knaggs. So this is a quite special guitar. It's quite a relic. It has a volume bleed, so if your volumes are in 5 and then the solo comes, you just can use this little guy to boost all the way to 10. So that's a pretty cool bypass thing. What else? We don't have binding. The koa basically joins the mahogany. It's a mahogany body. We have premium grade ebony on the fretboard with an inlay that is not that common nowadays, but this was pretty common in the first years in Knaggs, the little seahorse, and you can find that seahorse as well on the headstock here. Headstock is the same standard Knaggs headstock, nothing fancy here, with the Knaggs branding in the truss rod cover. So continuing on the back, look at that. We have a claro walnut top, not cap. We have a claro walnut cap on the back, and look how it joins the mahogany here. Look at this claro walnut. Look at that grain. And I have seen a lot of walnut on guitars, and trust me, they don't look like this all the time. It's quite a beautiful piece of wood. And then to top it off, we have a koa cover for the electronics. Same grade of koa you find on the top of the guitar, highly figured and with an amazing 3D movement. And then I'm not done yet with the craziness. Brazilian rosewood neck. And you know how much money these things are. So look at that. It goes all the way to the headstock. Look at those golden tuning machines, beautiful. And then the number of the serial number, which is a count of how many guitars Knaggs has been doing. This 117. So it is very early in Knaggs history. This is a very smooth rosewood, Brazilian rosewood neck. You can slide with no friction, super comfortable, and I think it's an oil finish, if I remember correctly. Super soft, smooth. So yeah, so this is what I'm saying, that Knaggs, they have guitars that compete with PRS Private Stock. completely. Look at this. Look at the woods. Brazilian rosewood neck, cloud of walnut, cap on the back, the koa, highly flamed koa. It's just amazing. It's like, this is something you cannot really find in a wood library in PRS. You have to go all the way to private stock, and this is cheaper than private stock. So consider checking what Knaggs has to offer if you're going for a super high-end guitar, because you might find a jewel like this, and this is a true jewel. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. Alright, so a few thoughts before we end this video. If you ask me if it's worth buying a Knaggs guitar, absolutely. I think you can justify buying anything you want, regardless how expensive it is in your life. Number one, you really want it, you feel passion for it. Number two, you have money to buy the thing. Not the money from the rent, or the money to pay the mortgage, or the money for the car payment, or the money you're saving for your kids' college. Not that money. If you're using that money, it means you cannot afford it. So I just want to make sure I'm very clear. I'm not telling you go get in debt and mess up your life just for a guitar like this. I'm just saying that when you only live once, if you do have that money, you can go for it. Just get it. I'm sure you'll enjoy it if you really buy it for the right reasons. The These guitars are expensive, and it depends on what you want, because they have several price points. I think they go from 35,000 all the way to, I've seen Knaggs are like about 12 to 13K, and those are obviously special editions. If you want something even more special, you can go for the creators tier, which is basically private stock level, where you talk to the dealer and then they contact Knaggs, and eventually you end up talking to Joe Knaggs, and you tell him what ideas you have in mind, and then he will basically use his creativity and come up with something very special for you. But that will cost you quite a lot of money. Otherwise, you can go to Reverb and just type Knaggs and search for all Knaggs guitars available, and you're gonna find a lot of great things there, and probably you'll find something for you, and you won't need to custom order anything. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to be shooting videos for each of the guitars through the year. I still need to do collection videos for the other guitars I have, so it will take a while. I'm just trying I'm not gonna sell any of these guitars until I'm done documenting them. So just stay tuned for that. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.